that scripture reading that we just heard for the Feast of the Holy Innocents, I don't like it. And I struggle to find God in that scripture. But then again, maybe I struggle because I'm often blind and deaf to God in my own life. There was a time like that more than a few years back when I didn't know what to expect on an evening in December. I didn't know if it would be good or if it would be bad. But what I did know was that the tenor and the tone of the group was changing. It was different. There were new people in the group, and they had new and very real concerns. And I was only beginning to kind of grasp what those concerns were and how they affected the people. And then, when we broke up into our small support groups, I saw that my group had a lot of those first-timers. And we sat in a circle, you know, those chair-to-chair circles where you can all see each other. And we began to share our stories. And in this group, we could share as much of our story as we wanted to, or as little, or if we wanted to take a pass, we could, and just sit there and listen. Now, my support group is a PFLAG group, and PFLAG stands for Parents and Friends of Lesbians and Gays. And as I said, things were different that night. They weren't bad, they were just different. And maybe part of it was because Christmas was on our minds and in our stories. And at any rate, when it came time for my friend to share his story, he said his grandma always loved to see him at Christmas time. And then he looked right at me, and he told all of us that he did not want to hear anything more about Christmas or religion, because his parents believed that God really had no use for those gays, and they really didn't want to have him around, especially at Christmas time. Then the next person up in the group was a first-timer to the meeting, and he chose to share his story. And he slowly told his story. And as he told it, we learned he was a straight man and that he was scared. He wasn't scared for himself. He was scared for his child. He was scared for his child because when he looked down the road to the future for his child, he did not know what would happen to his transgendered child. He was frightened. He was frightened for the physical safety of his child, and he was frightened for the emotional well-being of his child. He loved his son, and he did not know how to protect his son or to help him. And this man never looked us in the eye as he talked. He kept his head down because he was crying. And I didn't know what would happen next. So I just sat. I didn't know what to do. And then one person and then another person began to talk to him. And they shared their experiences. And they shared words of comfort and words of very hard practical advice. And it was in that circle of people where some were strangers and some were friends who didn't want to hear about religion or God again. It was in that circle that I caught a glimpse of God sitting right there with us, sharing our pain, hearing our fears, and confirming our love for our neighbor. And that night I was grateful that I had eyes to see and ears to hear God with us. Amen.